Here we are, moving on to this time lesson 11, and a lot is very similar to what we've been doing as far as coming up with your common denominator. The difference this time is that instead of adding, combining, determining the total, this time we're subtracting, we're finding the difference, we're figuring how much more of something there is than the other. And so we'll have to start kind of the same way with making sure that they're equal sized. So I'm going to start with problem F. I'm going to do F with you, and then I'm going to move down to H, and then there's a word problem that I'm going to do. So taking a look at this the way we have been, we can start by thinking about, well, this is 7 pieces makes a whole. This is 3 pieces makes a whole, so these pieces are going to be bigger because it's something that is only broken into 3 parts. Whereas on this side, remember, this is something, if it's broken into 7 equal pieces, they're not going to be very big, are they? So in order to make these equal, we have to make this 3 times more pieces. And we have to make this one 7 times more pieces. So these pieces are just getting smaller and smaller and smaller as we go. And so we know that 3 times 7 means that there's 21 in a whole in order to get that. So this is 7 times 3, and this one started out as 3, and then we said it needs to be 7 times that many pieces. So when we take a look at this, we know we've got 5, and we're going to end up at 21 to make a whole. And what we're taking away from that is 3, and we know we're going to have 21 pieces to make a whole. So when we look at this, we remember 7 times 3 gets us 21. So then we have to think 6 times 3. 6 times 3 gets us 18 out of 21 pieces. So if I went through the process and I colored in 18 of these, it's going to be equal to this fraction right here. Now when we take a look at this one, 3 and something 21, 21sts, we think 3 times 7, so we have to think 2 times 7, and we get 14. Now when we look at what's the result, what is the difference between 5 and 3? 2 is the difference between 5 and 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. 14 and 18, what's the difference between 4 and 8? Because the 10s, well, those are equal to each other. That is no different. So 4 and 8, the difference is 4. What size are we working with? 21. So that's your answer, 4 over 21. And then if you look at that, you can see right there that this is an even number, 4. 21 is an odd number. So I can't divide them both by 2. I know that 3 goes into 21, but 3 doesn't go into 4 evenly. So that's our answer. Let's take a look at the next one. Here we are, and this time we've got 8 and 3, and we think about, 8 times 2, 16. 8 times 3 gets us 24. And that is a 3, so that must be where we're headed, right? So we're going to keep our 15, and we figured out we're going to have a common multiple common denominator of 24. And what are we taking away? We're taking away 3, it's our big whole number, and something 24ths. Now to figure out how we get there, 8 times 3 got us this, so 5 times 3 gets us 15. 3 times 8 got us this, so 1 times 8. Treating top and bottom equal. Now we find our difference. 5, if you take 3 away from that, 5, 4, 3, 2, keep your 10, 12. And it's going to be 24 equal pieces still. Makes a whole. And think about, what do you add to 8 to get to 15? I know 2 gets me up to 10, and then 5 and 2 is 7. 7 24ths. 7's a prime, so I can't reduce that, and 7 doesn't fit into 24. So that has to be our answer then. 12 and 7/24. Let's go to our word problem. We are taking a look at question number 4. And right here we've got our character Bill. Bill reads a fourth of a book on Monday. And then he reads some more on Tuesday. And he reads some on Wednesday, according to all of this. If he finishes the book on Wednesday, what fraction of the book did he read on Wednesday? So this is the whole book, right there. And these are the days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. On Monday, he read 1/5. On Tuesday, he read 2/3. Now I'm going to switch colors because we're going to make these even denominators. So I know that 5 and 3, 5, 10, 15, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, we're going to turn these into 15ths. How much is a whole then? A whole is 15 15ths. So that's the whole book then, is 15 15ths. So let's see how much he read on Monday out of 15 15ths. 5 times 3 got us 15, so 1 times 3 is next. 3 times 5 is 15, so 2 times 5 is next. Now when we combine these, we can see 3 plus 10 is 13 15ths. So here's 13 15ths, is right here. Now we have to figure out how much further do you have to go to get to 15 15ths. Difference between 3 and 15, sorry, 3 and 5, because the 10s are there, is just 2. So 2 15ths. We make our sentence because it's a word problem. So Bill read 2 15ths of the book on Wednesday. And I'm just going to do an abbreviation, Wednesday, W-E-D. All right, let's take a look at tonight's homework. Here you go. Here are generate equivalent fractions to get like units and then subtract. So equivalent fractions, they're fractions that are equal to each other. So remember, 1/2, just as an example, remember if we multiply them both by 2, 2/4. 2 is also half of 4. That's all that means, is equal to each other. So when you come up with your common denominators, here or here, your choice, this one's just fractions, this one's mixed numbers. So that's where your choice comes into play, as you're figuring out if it's subtracting, you're finding the difference. If one person has 3/4 of the cake, the other person has 3/10, how much more does one person have than the other? And these are really close to each other, 3 and 4, so this is definitely, 3 is more than half. 3 is nowhere near half of 10, so this person has more. You're figuring out how much more. 3 1/2 compared to 1 1/3. These are pretty easy. This one's definitely bigger. Figuring out how much bigger in this case. So I'm going to ask you, pick one. And the whole thing of generating equivalent fractions, that's where the work comes in, to show me your thinking. All right, thanks. If you've got any questions, bring them for class tomorrow too. Thanks.